You? Okay, this meeting is being live streamed. And then we'll get underway. Okay, I'll just need to mute up what's going on over there and say good evening to everybody here on Zoom and over on YouTube. This meeting is being live streamed, and I just need to mute when I get the opportunity to do so. There we go. Welcome everybody to the Dream Team session on this, the 15th of June, 2023. We've got a great panel of people here who can help you move to Portugal. Let's talk to a few of them. Let's talk to the Queen of the Visas. Missed you last week, Gilda. How are you? How was it? Your little break?
Yeah, it was very nice. I went to Sevilla, very nice town. I tried to join you with my iPhone, but I could hear you, but you couldn't see me or hear me. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. So you were in Sevilla, and we might have talked to you if they've got the internet in Spain, right?
Yes, but I only stayed for a little while.
Right.
Because I was finishing my dinner, and I heard you talking about sardines, and then you said, I'm so glad that Gilda is not here hearing me about sardines, and then I said, okay, it's time to go away.
This is never going to be over for me, is it? And it's that time of year, Gilda. We need to get together, don't we, for maybe an expats Portugal special, where Carl and Gilda grill sardines together once and for all, and we just deal with it, and we can lay it to rest finally.
Oh yes, and I saw Nuno's background.
He's not helping, is he? He is not helping. Thanks, Nuno, for that. Okay. All right. Well, we may come back to that. Oh, there's Ben as well from Spartan FX.
Hello. Good evening, all.
While we've got you there, would you like to introduce yourself and say hi? It's been hotter in the UK than it's been in Portugal, isn't it?
It's been very hot. Not good when you don't have aircon either. So it's been a bit difficult if you work from home. The office is perfect, but yeah, it has been hot. I was actually in Tenerife a couple of weeks ago for the half term, and before we went, my wife was having a cry because it was hotter in England than it was in Tenerife. But
it happens.
It does. But no, it's very much welcomed from my point of view. So no, it's good. I'm Ben, director of Spartan FX. Hopefully many of you have seen the service that we offer to Expats Portugal's clients, help you move money internationally at fantastic rates and a great service. And I'm sure I can explain more a bit later when Carl prompts me to.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes, of course. If any questions come in for you, I will direct them to you. How's it looking today in the world of the markets? I suppose is there a Boris effect, or is that a little bit too domestic?
No, not really. Well, it's a bit too domestic for our friends across the pond, but a very busy day, a very busy 24 hours, actually, with the dollar and euro. What's happened? So there was interest rate decisions in both countries. The Fed in the States paused their interest rate hikes. So it started a bit of a depreciation for the dollar. And then we had the ECB's side today, and they hiked rates. But it was more their comments after, which they basically stated their main goal is bringing inflation down. They have to get inflation down in the EU. They'll continue to hike interest rates for the foreseeable, and that has led to the euro just strengthening against quite a few majors. So we've seen a bit of a turnaround in the rates. In fact, the dollar's lost, I think it's about 2.5 or 3 cents in about 3 or 4 days against the euro. So it's slowly creeping back up to that kind of 110 mark.
Okay, thank you for that insight there. And you've got fan mail as well. Alison and Michael. Hi, Ben. Ben rocks in capital letters. And fan mail for Steve as well. If you could pass this on.
I will do.
Colleen Benoit from the US. I'm loving, in caps again, Spartan FX, and grateful to Stephen Flack for his assistance. So name checking Stephen there.
I will pass it on.
That'll be fantastic. And Tom loving this sardine thing as well. Definitely sardine grilling season, and time to hear Carl get grilled about sardines. Let's get ready to grill. I'm looking forward to this TV special that we could do together, Gilda, once and for all. We'll come back to you, Gilda, for an insight into the world of migration and what might or might not be happening at Seth in a little while. Let's talk to Charlene. Good evening to you, Charlene. How are you? Tell us about what you do.
Hello, good evening. Oh, I'm doing great. I've been away for some time, for about 3 weeks. My mom came to visit from South Africa, and yeah, so then we went on holiday to Czech Republic, and yeah, it's pretty nice to be back. But yeah.
And you're here as part of the Dream Team. What is it you do? How can you help people in our community here?
Yeah, sure. So I work as an exclusive buyer's agent, and I work exclusively with buyers. So anyone wanting to go through the buying process, that is exactly what we assist them with. Finding the right property, and then connect them with other people that they need throughout the process. Yeah. So we don't list any properties, not because we can't. We do have a license, in fact, to do that. But our focus and our goal is really assisting the buyer in the process. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much. And how is it in Lisbon at the moment? I know you've been off for a little while, having
Yes.
a well-earned break, no doubt. But when you put your finger on the property pulse in Lisbon, how are things looking at the moment?
I feel that it's a bit quiet. I really feel that. Yeah, I think that some people are like sitting on the fence, waiting to see what will happen. For me, at least, that is the experience that I've been having so far. So things are a little bit more quiet. So yeah, that's why I also took the opportunity to take a little bit of a breakaway. So yeah, but good to be back.
That's very interesting. So you think with all the sort of government shenanigans and sort of political football going on around Portugal and the property in Portugal, Mais Habitação, people are maybe a little sort of stepping back a little bit and seeing what happens. Wow. Okay. Interesting stuff. So any questions for Charlene, pop those in the chat as well. Let's go to Nuna now from Winsurance. Belated birthday greetings to you. Hope you had a great time on your birthday, Nuna. Did you? And you should, of course, be called Antonio, because your birthday is on Sant Antonio's Day, isn't it? Did you have a nice time?
Yes, with my close family. Yes.
Oh, how lovely. Glad to hear it, my friend.
Peaceful time.
Good. Yeah, because it's been busy in the Mensch household recently, isn't it? So I'm glad you had a nice quiet birthday. How are things in the insurance world and with the team? And I think Camilla's here from the team as well. So good evening to you, Camilla. I won't put you on the spot.
Okay. Yes, but feel free to say a hi if you want, Camilla. So regarding the world of insurance in Portugal, the news of today is that Liberty Mutual, so it's a well-known insurer in the United States, sold its operation in Portugal, Spain, and Ireland to Generali, Italian group. So it's the news of the insurance world in Portugal.
Big news inside the industry. What does that mean for consumers then, Nuno?
Nothing, actually.
Okay, good.
It's a question of
yes.
Because
people just want to know, does that mean my premiums are going to go up, or is there going to be worse customer service? But you foresee no particular impact from a consumer point of view? No,
I believe no impact. No.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. Anything else from insurance? How's everybody at the team?
So we moved to a new office, and it was a surprise to the team, and I believe that they are very happy with this. So,
excellent. Yes. Camilla, I'm not going to ask you publicly, but if you want to say how it is at the new office in the chat, that would be great to hear from you. Good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Oh, you are here. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Good away.
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent.
The new office, yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh, cool, excellent. All right, so
yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, we really like it. We have more space, and everything is great. Yeah,
he's a good boss, isn't he? Fantastic. Now, which part of the city are Winsurance based in? What can you tell us about that part of Lisbon?
Our headquarters are in Avenida Liberdade, so in the city center.
Wow. Okay.
But maybe 7 years ago, when I talked to the team, that I see that in the future, in 12 years ahead, we will change to a hybrid working mode, so working remotely and going to the office. Camilla was not with us in that time. So everyone called me crazy. So like talking about alien stuff. And then, the COVID helped a lot. And nowadays, they only want to go to the office if it's mandatory. Okay, if there's is a meeting. Otherwise, they prefer to stay working remotely.
Purely visionary. That's what they call all visionaries. Crazy at first, and then we always thought that was going to happen in the end. Yeah, we knew that as well, Nunu. So well done, being a visionary leader. Fantastic stuff. Any questions about insurance? Let's come back to Nunu. Let's go on, mate.
And you use basically a office space near Tagus Park. So we have these two locations to work with.
But in the iconic Avenida de Liberdade, you can't get more Lisbon than that, really, can you? So fantastic. I'm going to ask Gilda the same question, so to give us a bit of an insight into where her part of Portugal, her part of Lisbon. But before we do, we've also got an honorary Dream Team member with us in the form of Anna, who is our very own Cascais correspondent. So can we have a quick insight into how hot and beautiful it is in Cascais this evening?
Very hot and very beautiful.
Very hot, very beautiful. Any questions about Cascais?
Yeah.
Anna, I'm sure we'll be happy to field those.
Yeah, I'm happy here, and I'm happy to help anyone regarding Cascais or Portugal in general.
Thank you. So,
Thank you.
Definitely, if you're here at the end of the call, we'll go to our more general question, which is always
okay.
good and a way of helping people learn more about Portugal. Let's go back to the Queen of the Visas, Gilda. So was it work or, can I ask, is it impolite of me to ask if it was work or pleasure, or is probably a bit of both knowing you, Gilda?
No, it was only pleasure.
Good for you. Self-care, a little bit of a break. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. So you've enjoyed Sevilla. Coming back then to the cutting edge of migration here in Portugal. What's new with Seth? Any changes? Anything to report?
No. So everything is still quite stopped. And Seth, it seems that they are not preparing for becoming this new entity.
They're not preparing.
No.
Okay.
And they are not like making an effort to put things rolling. So everything it's stopped. We still not having openings for the family reunion. So there are many families that are still hoping to make the process. People that came without visas, because by the time they didn't have, or they didn't facilitate the visas for the family. So now our advice is to ask for the visas for the family before anyone leave the country. So if you're applying for a D7, ask for a D6 visa for all your family members.
Okay, all right, thank you for that.
Also, what is happening is that many people are getting more refusals for the visas.
Really?
Yes, and we are getting more people asking us for help for the appeals.
Right. Now, I think we should dwell on that and calm people as much as is possible, because that sends a little bit of a shockwave, doesn't it, to hear that people are getting pushback on some of the visas. Which particular types, what sort of refusals? Can you tell us more about that so that people can kind of clarify whether they need to be concerned or not?
Yes, it's the D7 and the digital nomads, but especially the digital nomads. They are being very, very strict. But most of the times it's because the consulates are not clear with what the documentation to show. And the other thing is that people are not yet ready to distinguish between the D7 and the digital nomad. So they are still showing active income when they apply for the D7.
Right. Okay.
So that is now a reason for refusal. Because we are now getting so many requests for appeals, and we only have 10 days to make an appeal, everybody in the office is overwhelmed making these appeals and having to check the process again, and it's like remaking the process again.
Yeah.
We advise people, or you choose a company that is really an expert to do the process with, or you can do it with us if you are a premium member of the expats. You can do the process with us since the beginning, which is going to be faster. You do all the process, or if you think that you can do it by yourself, because many people think that they can see on Facebook groups or with the consulate, at least try to buy. We are building this new service, which is a revision of the process.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, it's people make the process by themselves, and then we make a review of the process, because this is going to avoid people to get a denial. We are going to see the mistakes that they did, and it's going also to avoid us to make the process again, and to make it in a very quick time, because we only have 10 days to respond to the appeal.
Very interesting. So this is now in operation, is it? This is a service you're actually operating
Yes.
right now. Okay. Which is like a clinic, effectively, where people have gone wrong and they need a proper professional view of it. It's like a visa clinic with EI.
Yes, if you want to call it or see it that way.
Surgery sometimes. Go on, Ben.
I was going to ask Gilda, so digital nomads are for people that want to just like work remotely, so they can have their job in a different country, earn money, and just live in Portugal for a set amount of time that they give the visa for, or is it forever?
No, it's a certain amount of time, but then you can keep renewing it.
Okay, fine.
Okay? And after 5 years, if you learn Portuguese, you can apply for citizenship.
I see.
Or for permanent residency.
Understood. So some people will do that as opposed to the D7 to live there full time. So you can come and go as you please with the digital nomad, I suppose. So it probably works for some people, right?
Yes, but you have like a minimum staying in Portugal to keep the visa.
Okay, fine. And do they just reject it on most of the time because of the amount people earn? Or, I mean, why would they reject it if they offer it? And surely they want people to come and they spend money there. What? I don't understand why they would reject it if someone earns the amount that you need to get it.
It's the amount, it's the type of contract, if it is, it's many things that they need to analyze. It's the amount, it's the bank statements that you have, it's if you have a bank account in Portugal or not, although it's not mandatory by law, but sometimes they will look at that, and that will have weight on the decision. And also a rental agreement, if they see if you don't have if your money is like in the line, they want to have more proofs that you are going to have means to sustain yourself in Portugal.
Okay.
Great questions there, Ben. Gilda, are you hearing what I'm hearing? That maybe when somebody rings Ben for Spartan FX, he's going to be picking up the phone in Portugal in the future.
I'd love to.
Digital nomad.
I'd
That's
love
what I was
to.
hearing there, Ben.
I'd love to. My cousin lives in Cascais, so I've been there a few times. So I can go and speak to Anna. She can find me a property, although I don't think I can afford it there. So I'd have to live with him rent free. And if he'd let me, I'll be there tomorrow.
You're in the right place tonight, Ben. So expect to call Gilda and team from the Spartan FX office tomorrow. And I think a few of your other colleagues who are also being name checked tonight might like to do the same digital nomad visa process.
I'm sure they'd love to, but I want them in the office, so I'll go and work on the beach, and they can stay in the office.
There's Director Ben. We've got Derek. Huge thank you to Nunu. Oh, that's a feedback for Nunu, which I'll come back to in just a moment. But
thank you, Ben, for your question, and you will be welcome if you want to work with us.
Thank you so much.
And I know who to ask if I need a night off. Ben can stand in for me, can't he? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll try. And if ever any of you want to come to London, I'll take you around. It's no problem.
What an offer! Fantastic. So yes, you had your excellent and positive feedback earlier on from Alison. Gail also working with Steve as well, with Steve Flack. He's been very accessible and helpful too. Thank you, Spartan FX, as well as Alistair, another colleague there. Dottie, delighted with Alistair, has been helping us and is terrific as well. So please pass those on, Ben.
I will do.
Any more questions about the digital nomad visa, just put them in the chat or ask them out loud. Gail and Dwight made it through, and I'm okay. So I'm guessing I can share that. That is to everyone here. So Gail and Dwight, well done, made it through the D7 process in San Francisco. Yay! VFS staff were great, and that's nice to hear, isn't it? So the VFS staff at San Francisco were great and very friendly and helpful too. So congrats coming in from everybody on the call tonight to you, Gail and Dwight. That's fantastic. Good stuff. Phyllis, Benoit, can we contract EI to accompany us to the bank in September to open our account? Gilda.
I already answered that. Yes, of course.
Are you refusing to answer it again?
No, I would go in person with them.
Okay, there you go. So yes, of course, says Gilda to you, Phyllis, in the chat. Gail, this is fantastic. Gail saying thank you very much to the dream team. EI, Raisin Pelicano. Daniel was pretty good last week, obviously not as good as you, but don't tell him I said so, Gilda. Raisin Pelicano, Winsurance, and Claudia, and CGD, who we are working with. So happy with that bank, Caixa General, and that helped make it all happen. Onwards with our floaties on. Oh, I see. Yeah, we appreciate you very much. And a little bit of advice as well from Alison Michael to breathe as well. Derek's here. A huge thank you to Nunu and Camilla for arranging our medical insurance with 3 working days for our Seth appointment. There you go. That's how great they are at Winsurance as well. Superb service, exceptional, say Linda and Derek, and yeah, Camilla responding there. Go on, Gilda.
I want to say to Derek and Linda that I'm jealous right now.
Why?
Because they know why.
Is that what? Because Nunu didn't get back to you that quickly? No, something else, presumably. Nothing to do with Nunu. They may or may not declare that in the chat with the rest of us. I really want to know, but I may never find out tonight. Tom, with a question for you, Gilda. When I come to see you for the first time to begin the process, what documents should I bring? And which bottle of wine? No, he didn't really ask that, but I'm asking.
Please, wine. Please bring me wine.
There you go, Tom Smith. Question.
Leave the documents behind. Leave the documents behind. Just some wine.
Just bring the wine. Okay. So, but seriously, when I come to see you for the first time to begin the process, no, seriously, bring wine. What document should I bring? I would be applying for the D7. So that first visit with you, Gilda, what to bring on that occasion?
Well, the first visit, it depends if you already have the NIF or not. If you don't have the NIF, you should bring only your passport and a proof of residency. That should be an utility bill recently, with the recently date. If you already have the NIF, you should bring the NIF. And it is just going to be a conversation about your income, and then I will ask, depending on your sources of income, I will ask the documentation that I will need to go for the D7, because all the documents will need to be fresh when you are going to present the D7.
Very good. And I'm sure you see people in all states of readiness and disorganization in your line of work. And can we ask you to point us towards best practice? I mean, it is presumably good for Tom Smith and others to start to get, files together, a concertina file or ring binders with punched pockets, and start getting all these many documents efficiently organized, because that's going to look good when you go see VFS and Seth as well, right?
Yes, I love concertina files.
Right. Okay. Why is that?
Because it's my kind of organization. It's like identification. You put the identification, income. You put the income documents. insurance, you put the insurance documents. I love it, the way we can organize it.
And I have to say, I'm not the most organized person, but it is one of the first things I bought. And I realized I would need in Portugal. I think it was in Aldi or Lidl, in the middle aisle. They had a shrink wrapped pair of those Concertina files so that you could put your little tags in, like you're talking about your insurance, your NIF, your residency and all of that sort of stuff. So I still have those from when I first came to Portugal. So you would recommend that? Get a
Yes,
Concertina
because
file.
every time I see a client with that, it's like, oh, this one is going to be very easy to deal with.
Excellent. Okay. And then the other people who come with a carrier bag full of random unopened envelopes and half open envelopes, still help them.
No, worst. When a client comes with a phone like this. So
and it's all on the phone.
Everything is on the phone. And then he stays like half an hour looking and sending to my email and asking me to print. And we go like that for hours and hours and hours.
I'm glad I asked. So please, folks, print things out, get them, start beginning to be organized with this, because it is appreciated in the Portuguese system and how Portuguese bureaucracy works, right? Start getting into that mindset.
No, or at least if you have it in the phone, have it in an organized way. Don't be there searching for an hour, and then like one of my customers the other day, he was searching. And then he ended up calling his secretary that was on the other side of the world to send me the documents because he couldn't find it.
So that is not ideal. It can be managed, but it's not ideal. It's going to be so much better, isn't it? Okay, thank you for that. Connie, thank you for your kind words. And okay, Gilda, says Connie, Concertina folder it is. I'm so glad I asked that. The other thing I forgot to ask you, because I asked Nunu about where the insurance headquarters are. Where are EI headquartered? Which part of Lisbon are you and the team in, Gilda?
So it's near Marquês de Pombal.
Oh, excellent. Okay, another iconic part of the Lisbon landscape. And you've just had your book fair just down the road there, haven't you? And you've got a big craft fair coming up too. Fantastic. How lovely. For the FBI background check, says Tom Smith, do I need to get one for me and my wife too?
Yes, but it depends. If you are going to put the process together, you need to ask at the same time. If you are going to put only your process and come with her as a tourist visa and do the family reunion process here, which I don't advise, I advise you to put both processes together, then you should only ask for yours. Because hers, it's only good for 3 months. Right. And then hers will expire. But because I advise you to put both process together, you should ask for both at the same time.
Okay, there you go, Tom Smith. It's around the 50 mark when we ask how Mandela is doing, and if any of the other members of the panel want to talk about their pets, now's the time to do so. You've been away on holiday, which often puts him back a little bit, doesn't it? How is he doing?
Well, I think that he was very happy this time because he stayed with some friends that had the 2 dogs, so he didn't bother much this time. So
he's getting better about you being away. I'm glad to hear that. And
yes.
So the antisocial behavior and grumpiness and all that sort of stuff. He's really growing up, isn't he? So lots of love to Mandela from us all here. Do give him a little pat and a kiss from us after the Dream Team session tonight. Very quiet, I have to say, over on YouTube this evening. First question only just coming in. I think the Dream Team are so good. They've just sorted everybody out in these previous weeks. But if you do have a question, please ask it over on YouTube, which George Jensen has done. Good evening. Question. I thought he was calling me Q like in James Bond. Good evening, Q. Good evening, Bond. Is it easy for us to change our online tax representative? We got the NIF and password through them, but we may need to quality services from EI to help with the D7. Now, this is a process we should talk about because some people helping people with NIFs get the password, and then it can be difficult to get the password from them. And then you're a little bit stuck, aren't you, Gilda? So what should people watch out for with that part of the process?
Okay, yeah, this is something that is concerning also some of the clients, is that the tax representatives are not giving the passwords, and this is not correct. because when you buy the service, the NIF is yours, and they have to ask for the password. It should be part of the service. When you buy the NIF service, asking for the password, it should be part of the service, and they have to give you the password. But what happens sometimes is that these people or these non-very reliable companies are doing is that they keep the password so that they can charge more when people need the password. For instance, when they want to change the address. So before you buy the service of the NIF, I advise you to have something registered, written, saying that is this service going to include giving me the password to access my tax portal? Because this is very important, because if you have the password, then you are free to, of course, change the address when you have your residency card.
Yeah, and it can
be. Then you are
stressful.
free. Yes, sorry. And then you are free to leave your tax representative.
Yeah, right. And if they don't give it to you, they're effectively holding your password and your logins hostage, yes, aren't they? Which yes, is really unethical, and also a reflection of not a very good situation that the Portuguese government have put people in, really. Do you think there will be a change such that there's a different kind of login? So you're not giving, I mean, in many ways, it's a bit of a data protection risk, isn't it? That your login is just given to the person and then you don't get to see it.
It is, but look, until now, this service was only provided by lawyers or accountants. And they had the duty of doing this, and this was with I don't know the word in English, sigil. So they had the duty of being silent about it.
Okay.
And being compliant.
Right. So that it's almost like an oath to be your third party, be your representative and agent, yes, but not to take advantage of yes, that situation. Yeah.
But what happened with this, with the many migration coming to Portugal, that many companies start rendering this service, and they don't know the rules, and they are not settling boundaries. So it's like they are not sure of what they are doing, right, and they just want more money. So they keep the passwords, and then to give you the passwords, they ask for more money.
Yeah,
and
that's
sometimes
highly unethical, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So what I think it will happen is that maybe the tax office or the accountants bar, it's going to take some measures about this.
Okay, all right. And if you find yourself in that unfortunate position, I mean, let's bring in Mehmet's question here because it's connected. It's possible to get your NIF number without presenting a fiscal representative, but in that case, you're not eligible to buy a house or a car. The question is, can you rent a house or car without a fiscal representative? Let's come back to this situation if your logins are being held hostage. But the question from Mehmet, can you rent a house or car without a fiscal representative? We don't have to have a representative necessarily, do you? But you have to have your NIF number.
What happened is that the law came out. It says that you only need a tax representative if you want to have transactions in Portugal.
Yes. Okay. Renting is a transaction, though, right?
The problem is that.
Okay.
Is that for many people, renting is a transaction. For other, renting is not. Also, for I would say 90% of the tax office or on the online NIF, it's where we request now, they won't grant you the NIF without a tax representative now for compliant reasons.
Okay, so I hope that helps you, Mehmet, there. And if you find yourself in this unfortunate situation, Gilda, where your logins are being held hostage and people are threatening to ask you for more money if you want your logins or do something else for you, how do you alert them to the fact that that is not ethical and right, and what action you might take?
You go to the tax office, you say that you lost your password, and you ask for another one.
So that would lock them out, and you make doubly sure that they've got the right details to send the new password to, i.e. your address.
But you need to make sure that you change the address, because if you say that you want, you need to make sure that they give you the password on your hand, or you need to change the address and they will send the password to your new address. Otherwise, the password is going to your tax representative.
And they will know what you've been trying to get away from.
Yes.
Through that means. Okay, hope that helps there with your question, George. Thanks for being here tonight. Don't forget, everybody, we've got Ben from Spartan FX, we've got Nuno from Insurance, we have Charlene here, who's a buyer's agent and can help you find property, and of course the queen of the visas is here, and our special cash correspondent Anna is here as well. So if you've got any questions on any of those subjects, do get them into the chat. It's funny, it seemed fairly quiet and slow going earlier on in a way, and now suddenly, just as we've only got 20 minutes to go, the questions start piling in as usual. Get them in early, folks, if you will. Johan saying good afternoon, everyone. And Square Eyes, what is the drawback or advantage of me bringing my elderly mother on a reunification visa if I come in via a D7? Let's generalize this. We have addressed this question before, haven't we? And it's about Square Eyes saying she isn't very mobile. What sort of concessions do Seth make for people who can't get to the appointments or who have a disability, for example, Gilda?
She needs to go to Seth.
So people have to be taken there, do they?
Yes, because they need to take the biometric. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, that must be quite difficult at times for some people, with waiting times, with inaccessible offices and so on.
No, they can ask for priority access.
Okay. So you will have to get to Seth. And that could bring with it problems, of course, if you have people with physical or mental disabilities or difficulties. But they will, once you get there, make allowances and get you to the front of the queue.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Hope that helps Square Eyes there. Going back to the Zoom questions, thank you for these, everybody. We should have said a huge thanks to Gilda and Marianne for arranging our Seth appointment in Lisbon on the 7th of June, within 6 weeks of getting our D7. Not bad, huh? Phenomenal service is what they say. Don't try on your own. And yes, you are invited for lunch. Okay, has that put it right now?
No, I was not inviting myself for lunch.
Well, it's worked anyway.
No, I just wanted a little bit of attention. I want a lunch for myself, Derek and Linda.
Oh, Derek, that's not good enough. You can't join. Gilda's not happy joining Nunu's lunch. She wants her own lunch there. Okay, all right, let's see what happens.
No, I'm just kidding. If you want me with lunch, I would be.
Yeah.
If I can, I will be happy.
Yeah, I'll come along a second fiddle to the lunch. Okay.
If Nuno wants me there.
I know what it's like to face this.
Nuno wants to talk.
Nuno, go on.
In defense of Derek, yeah, it's true. He told me today that he will invite you, Gilda, to the same lunch.
So, is that any better, Gilda?
Now it's better. Thank you, Nuno.
Okay, Derek, this is what it was like with the sardine thing. Now you know. Okay, Marcy is asking if and or when our visa application is approved, will the Seth appointment be printed, posted on the visa, or is there a new process for attaining the Seth appointment? That's a great question, Marcy. Thank you.
Well, if they have vacancies when they issue the visa, the Seth appointment will be printed on the visa. Okay. So most likely, yes.
All right, that's good to know. Thank you. And yeah, tune in every week. to hear about the changes, because things do change, and as you said before, things are on some fronts getting a little bit more difficult. And what I forgot to say earlier on is to reiterate this 10-day period you have for making an appeal. No better people to make that appeal for you than EI, it would seem. And we've got some more excellent feedback for you, Gilda. But people do need to act promptly, and they need to get into this kind of clinic service that you're talking about, where they may have not doing it alone or doing it with someone else.
Please do make this an exception, not a rule.
Yes, I hear you. We hear you. Dottie says, I agree. And I think that's agreeing with phenomenal service. Christina took over from the attorney we started with and has done such an incredible job at about 10% of the cost of the attorney. That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, that's a good advice. I should raise my price.
Put your prices up. Is that what you're thinking there? Okay. We got our final documents from Christina this morning, and Monday we have a pre-VFS Zoom with her in case we have any last minute questions. This is the service you get from EI, everybody. And then we go to San Francisco on Wednesday. I feel so much more confident having had her excellent help and advice. That's fantastic. Thank you. Hello from Canada, from Marcia. We will be in Portugal next month for 2 weeks. Are we able to go into a place, finance us directly to get our NIFs? We will be in Porto, Coimbra, Lagos and Lisbon. Will our passports and driver's license reads our Canadian address be enough documents to do this? There you go. So I mean, all those places have finances. Should they take it on themselves? Should they try?
Well, usually they don't accept people in person to take the NIFs. But if it is going to be like a remote place and they being foreigners, maybe they will say, okay, we will do it. Okay,
so in the busier offices,
it's
hard to rock up.
Yeah.
However, when you go more provincial, and of those places you give there, none of those are that provincial, really. They sound like busy offices, don't they? Porto, Coimbra, Lagos and Lisbon. I remember many years ago, I went to Alcobaça, for example, and I got a NIF there. And that's what you're talking about, isn't it? The smaller towns who aren't overwhelmed and will want to make you make an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much for that on that particular question.
And yes, the passports and the Canadian driving license with the address would be enough.
Great, thank you for picking up on that. I completely neglected that. Thank you, Gilda. To Nuno, a huge thank you to Nuno and Camilla for arranging our medical insurance with. Oh, that was the 3 working days, and that. Oh, that's what started that whole lunch thing off. Sorry to mention that again. We might visit Castelo Branco. Whoops, to meet with realtors. Castelo Branco, possibly. Marcia, there. That might be the easier of all those towns that you gave. Thank you, Gilda. Over to YouTube now in the remaining minutes that we have this evening. Thank you, George, for your question. Thank you, Johan and Square Eyes. I would like, says Johan, to know what is the age limit for applying for a dependent residency. Thank you. Yeah, dependents. What are the age criteria, Gilda?
Dependents?
Yeah, for the dependents or of the dependents, like the children and the older relatives.
Okay, so dependent, it will be 18 years old or until 25 if they prove that they are single, they don't have a job, and they are still studying.
Okay.
And above 65 if they prove that they are dependent from the sons.
Okay, there you go, Johan. Those are the ages of the dependents that are applicable there. Hi, Gilda, says Sumin Kim over on YouTube. I have an appointment with Seth in July. I found a lovely apartment through Casa Portuguesa. Carla is amazing. Is that Carla who also does driving licenses?
Yes, I invited her to come to the show several times, but she always finds an excuse.
We would love it. I don't know what it is we can do. Maybe it comes back to wine again. But it would be lovely to speak to Carla one of these evenings, either on the main webinar with her experience managing driver's licenses and also her work clearly through here with Casa Portuguesa and signed the lease remotely. So you're able to do that through Casa Portuguesa as well, Gilda, have people sign up for these leases.
Yes, of course.
Leases that you find remotely. Fantastic. I learned that Seth continues to may not accept a copy of the lease. What else can I bring for this? My landlord sent me the document that proving that my lease is registered with Seth. That should do it, shouldn't it?
Yes, ask for the document of the registered in the tax office, and that should be enough.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to put Colleen's question together with a question we have here from Vision Portugal Dream. Good to see you here tonight. So Colleen's asking, with Derek's excellent praise for you, is Gilda able to get a quicker CEF appointment than what the D7 visa will have when I receive? So you can't exactly move things on faster. It's just the efficiency with which you normally work that makes things happen quickly. Is that right, Gilda?
Yes, only if there is someone that quits an appointment and we are able to get.
Very good. Okay, another benefit of working with EI and then being able to see that. And on that note, Vision Portugal Dream VPD, how long are D7 approvals taking at the moment, please? We applied in London on the 31st of May. We plan to travel to Portugal at the end of July. And a nice sunflower emoji there. Thank you. London's going pretty well, isn't it? As I understand, Gilda?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so London, one of those consulates that's working fairly efficiently. In terms of those league tables, where are the most sticky consulates and VFSs around the world at the moment, Gilda?
You know, always the same.
Okay.
But no one here,
it's not applicable to anyone here tonight, as far as we know. Okay. Thank you, Gilda, says George Jensen. We shall be in contact to arrange a consultation. Excellent. And yes. Hi, after a long time of watching your live, interested to know about current situation of the digital nomad visa. Well, watch the replay of last Thursday's special on the digital nomad.
How was my dear Carolina?
Caroline, well, yes, it's always difficult to answer these questions, Gilda, because she was excellent, just like Daniel was last week. But you weren't there to add the extra regal qualities that you bring as Queen of the Visas. But she was excellent, she was excellent. She's really, really good. And you know what? When she's complimented, she defers. Yeah, she says it's because of my colleagues as well. So you do have an amazing team there.
Yeah, I know. I'm so proud of them.
Yep, you're quite rightly so. Fantastic. Yeah, but she was brilliant, and you can watch that replay on Expats Portugal's YouTube channel. I think this is a rumor from Ray and Vera. I think the consulate in Vancouver is just an empty building. Is it like those in the cowboy, the Western movies, with just the front held up by timber at the back, and there's not actually anyone in there or working inside the office? That's not true, is it? They're just a little bit slow at the moment in Vancouver. Is that right, Gilda?
Yes, they are. They are very slower.
Okay, not much we can say, right? Except keep everything crossed there, Ray and Vera. Because you asked for it, what's this?
I know. I understand it.
All right, so team movements there that Mehmet is reporting on there. I would like to ask for, okay, let's bring Ben on with his crystal ball now.
But Mehmet, they are quite different. They are quite, because Beatrice, she was more extrovert. Carolina, she's more introvert, but she studied like in the army college, and she's very everything needs to go straight. She's like more organized, and everything needs to go like
military precision, I think is what we're talking about there, isn't it? Okay.
Different people, different approaches, but both of them very good. Makes
the world go round, and good luck to Beatrice in her new place as well. Okay, where were we? Thanking the dream team there. Oh, we were going into crystal ball territory with Ben, weren't we? It's always a difficult one, but I would like to ask for a prediction of euro to dollar in the next few months from the lovely lady here that is doing money exchange. Her name is Ben. Lady Ben, I think.
I think not. Right, look, I'll stick my neck out on the line.
Oh my goodness.
The next few months, I think you might see a bit of a tail off for the dollar. So In my opinion,
Yes.
it wouldn't surprise me if you see the rates creeping over 110, edging around 112, 113, potentially. There's a lot of issues in Europe, but I just think the central bank stances of Europe keeping hiking rates. I think what a lot of clients have to kind of bear in mind was the US was the first country to start hiking interest rates. Their inflation issues are different to that of Europe and certainly the UK. And I think they will be the first to start cutting rates. I'm not saying this year, but into next year. So that will just put pressure on the dollar. So I think the days of parity are long gone. If you can catch it anywhere around 107, 106, 107, I'd always grab it. But I think over the coming months, you're going to start to see the rates settle above 110, in my opinion. But we can play it back in November and December and see if I was right or wrong. But that's my thoughts on it. So for a lot of clients that are maybe planning on moving money over the coming months, 6 months, I do think it may, well, you might have even missed the boat after today, but in essence, I think it will be better now than where it will be long term. So there are options where if you don't have funds available, you can buy your currency in advance. You can reach out to us. We can explain that in more detail. Even if you don't have a bank account set up and you want it, and you've got funds just sitting in your account, you want to secure some euros, you can do that with us. We can hold them in your account. It's all very safe, secure, backed by the banks. We hold funds for clients for months and months for some of them, and then we can move it out when you've got everything set up for the bank accounts or buying your properties or whatever it is that you need the funds for. So yeah, if anyone is budgeting on rates where they've been over the last 2, 3, 4 months, you could get a nasty surprise if you move in 6 months or a year's time.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And that's, yes, thank you for reiterating that. That you did ask for a prediction, and you've got an opinion there, not financial advice. We should make it very clear. But this is a man who's in the business, knows what he's talking about. So thank you for that, Ben, for sticking your neck out.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And
yeah,
also, go on.
No, I was going to say, I've been doing it for 15 years. So or over 15 years, I've been wrong on many occasions, but it's just the kind of feeling that I get as to which way it might head. Bear in mind, before the war started, euro dollar was 117, 118. We've seen it over 120 on many occasions. So there is definitely scope for the reversal in the rates.
And that sounded like an autobiography. The days of parity are long gone. Or it sounds like a blues song, doesn't it? Right. We have a few more comments. We'll come back to the lovely lady in question, because that's part of my last question for everybody this evening. But we need to talk a little bit more about consulates and visas around the world and how they're responding. Marcia says, if we're located closest to Vancouver, however, or we are located closest to Vancouver. However, if Ottawa consulate is quicker, are we permitted to apply at Ottawa instead? Is that possible, Gilda?
No.
Thank you for that.
No, there is a rule that you need to show where your address is, and you need to apply closest to your address. Right. And this was like a Las Vegas magic show, because I'm sure when I last saw you on the screen, it was just you. Now it is a banner and Mandela on the screen as well. So big round of applause. That was an excellent magic trick. Look at him. It looks like you might have woken him up and he was having his... No, he was around here.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a sweet screenshot right now. Everybody. Oh, little Mandela. Hello, mate. And he might be able to help us answer this question. Oh, is the DC consulate very efficient? Not that question, but is the DC consulate very efficient or slow, Gilda? Oh,
it's efficient.
It is efficient.
It's taking time because it's overwhelmed, but it is efficient.
Okay. Big hugs then from Edith and Nesta. And that is, that's from Edith. Who's been working with Anna in Casa Portuguesa. Can you give her a hug? And I think Vicky wants to give Mandela a hug. Hugs all round for the EI team, including Mandela tonight. And finally, from the questions, Gail says, we're just planning a trip to close on a house near Cajarias and Orang, arriving July 5th and returning home to complete things in New Mexico later in July. I used to live there, lovely part of the world. And Anna, very kind of you, Anna. And I've got a question for you as part of the whole team who are going to answer this question to conclude tonight. But you say, Gail, if you need information, my father's hometown is Orang, and it's a lovely place in central Portugal, Orang. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you, everybody. Take anything that we didn't get to tonight to the forum at expatsportugal.com/community. My final question then, going back to Johan, you shouldn't be embarrassed because I did make a bit of a meal of that, and Ben is fine about it. But you're talking about Sarah Davy from Spartan FX, who we're in the process of teaching Portuguese to at the moment. So I'll start with you, Ben, on the panel here, and I'll come to you, Charlene, Nuno, Camilla, possibly if you want to, Anna and Gilda tonight. But Ben, how's it going? Does Sarah come into the Spartan FX office saying, "Olá, bom dia, tudo bem a todos"?
She was in today and she didn't mention anything to me about learning Portuguese. So
really?
Yeah, so I'll have to bring her up on that. So I know she would love to go and live in Portugal one day, maybe. So maybe she's learning for that. Who knows?
I've got some skin in the game here with teaching her Portuguese. Could you make it part of her appraisal?
I can do. Why not? We can make
the director.
Yeah, just we do you know what? If you're going to charge her, I can get her to do like.
I'm not good at
3-4 hours a day for you, no problem at all.
Oh, brilliant, Ben. Well, she is learning Portuguese, and that is my final question tonight. Obviously, you're probably not in a position to offer resources to learn and teach Portuguese with Sarah, but do ask her about it and how it's going. Maybe you can throw in a cheeky "Olá, bom dia" to her next time you see her.
I will do. I think she's in Portugal this weekend, actually, so she can top up on learning it, I suppose.
Well, that is dream team question of the evening. Let me go to Charlene, if I may. Charlene, I do beg your pardon. It sounds like you have a bit of a mixed South African and Portuguese heritage. We see in the news at the moment that Rabo de Peja on Netflix is doing rather well. That's one way of learning Portuguese. What would your tip be, Charlene, to anybody who wants to get a better grasp of Portuguese, like, for example, Sarah Davy of Spartan FX?
Yeah, I think it's good to always practice it when you speak with people, even like when you go out in shops and restaurants, is to speak with them, even if it's not perfect, just to speak with them, because you'll learn way faster than that. Because I've seen so many people that's so shy, they don't want to practice and speak with other people, and then it just takes way longer. If you just go out and just start talking, even just basic things, I think it helps a lot. It did for me, at least.
Fantastic. That's great. And your company, of course, is in the Expats Portugal directory. Can you spell it out for us? Because it's an unusual name.
The name of the company, Kuabit. Yes. Kuabit.
Kuabit in the business directory of Expats Portugal. Thank you for your advice tonight. Let's go to Nuno now. Would you recommend watching Rabo de Peja? Do you watch? I don't suppose you've got time to watch Netflix series, Nuno. But what's your recommendation to Sarah?
A Portuguese guy.
What's that?
Start dating a Portuguese guy.
I think she's married, Nuno. That could cause quite a lot of trouble.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, let's do take two on that. So what would your advice be, Nuno, to Sarah Davy who wants to learn Portuguese?
Well, I think that the best way of learn any if it's Portuguese or English or whatever, is go deep on the culture and attend to the local shops, local coffees, and so on. And don't be shy. Try, especially in Latin culture. No one will worry if you are not talking in perfect Portuguese. Actually, in Portugal, you will have a problem, because if Portuguese people understand that you are not Portuguese and you are trying to start to talk Portuguese, people will try to help and start replying to you in English.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you. And so when Ben gets all the expenses and he sees hundreds of coffees on there, she can say, I was just practicing my Portuguese, right? So it's stand by for lots of expenses on this trip to Portugal. It's just Sarah's learning Portuguese, Ben. Camilla, did you want to add anything to that? Oh, we need you to, oh, yeah, you go.
Yeah. To learn Portuguese. For me, I'm from Brazil, so Portuguese is okay. But I was watching Rabo de Peixe and I need to put subtitles.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So this Netflix series for you as a Brazilian Portuguese speaker,
Yeah.
you need,
Yeah.
so, okay, that's a help to people who are learning Portuguese to show them the differences there. So even somebody who speaks Portuguese like Camilla does, she still needed a subtitles for that. Would you recommend it? Is it a good thing to watch?
I don't watch too much TV
Okay.
shows, so I'm sorry.
Not a big fan of that. Thank you for being here tonight, Camilla.
I'm sorry.
Lovely to have you here. And enjoy your new office there. Thank you very much. Anna, let's ask you the same question. Have you seen this series? What's your recommendation for Sarah?
Well, if you like a Netflix series and you'd like to learn Portuguese through that, there's a good one. It's called Gloria.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about history, and it's better Portuguese than Rabo de Peixe.
I agree.
It's not
with Anna.
about the
Much better.
Azorian pronunciation. It's because it's a lot of bad words. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So if
All
you
right.
like to learn that ones, it's okay. But
Certainly
even
not.
in Portugal right now, the series becoming very popular worldwide, and there are some people saying it's a very good series in terms of this the plot, etc. But the language is very, 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 very strong bad words. So
Very naughty. I'm so sorry I
don't
mentioned.
repeat them in the supermarket, please.
Yes. Yeah, I certainly
But
don't want it coming back to us.
I've started to watch it. It's the story behind it. It's a very good one, and it's enthusiastic. And they just released the news that it's going to be a second season, so
Okay.
it will continue. But if you like to learn Portuguese, in the Netflix, there is a series called Gloria, which is based on a true story, and it's
And
it's a good
that's
one.
wonderful. I agree
Yeah.
with Anna. It's much better than this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you because I want to thank Anna for that. Rabo de Peixe means turn of the tide. You might think, I mean, there is fish involved in that, but I guess it's not a literal.
Yeah, it's the name of the place. There's a place in Azores called Rabo de Peixe. That's the location.
So it's Azorian.
Yeah.
It's Azorian.
Yeah.
Portuguese.
It
Okay,
says
I
that
remember
is the poorest parish in Portugal for many, many years. So there's only it's very isolated, no jobs, no nothing. So it's a very poor local. And it's known in Portugal for that for many years. I don't know if it's still like that, like poor, but the story is about that because the boat arrives there with the drugs on it.
Oh my goodness! Now, so not that I would condone or recommend anything in that particular production.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem, but it's not the best language to learn. Probably,
that's
if
what
you want
yeah,
to.
That's what I wanted to
be
say.
kind to others.
I am quickly distancing myself from Rabo de Peixe and recommending Gloria instead for Sarah of Spartan FX and anybody else who wants to learn Portuguese. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for your very kind offer as well.
Can I just say to Gail, congratulations. Orem, it's a wonderful place, and it's very good to know that countryside and smaller places are attracting people to live in. And it's a lovely place. Yeah.
Well said. And there's a lovely castle there that Jerry can tell you about as well.
In Orem, yeah.
All right,
and Caxias has a very large train station connecting Lisbon to Porto, so it's very well easy access. So good.
And a great swimming pool at Caxias.
Yeah.
Where I went in with my rental car keys in my swimming trunks. I remember it well. All right, thank you, Anna, and thank you for your very kind offer to help people in Cascais as well. Thank you for being here, much appreciated. Okay, finally then, I hope I haven't left anybody out. Finally, to Queen of the Visas, what's your recommendation, your support for Sarah learning Portuguese, Gilda? Not Rabo de Peixe.
Me is always talking to people, meeting people, talking to people is always the best way.
So she's going to have to overcome her shyness. That's a joke, everybody. She is very forthcoming and extroverted. I think she's going to be great and have a fun time in Portugal learning Portuguese. Thank you, Gilda. Thank you, everybody. Does anybody on the panel want to say anything else before we conclude the session? It is 6 minutes past 10. Excellent. Okay. Over to you, Jerry.
Well, okay. Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you, Dream Team. Very much indeed. I have a little story about the language. I went to my local cafe recently. The owner is Portuguese, but speaks excellent English. There were 3 guys talking away in Portuguese beside me. They were talking, they must have been talking at 200 kilometers per hour. It was so fast. All you could hear was, and I said to the guy, I'll never learn this language because I cannot understand a word they're saying. And he said, neither can I.
And that is a true story, isn't it?
That's a true story.
How it is. That is
yeah,
how it
is. How it is. So thank you, everybody. Next week, the early session on our webinar will be about wealth management in Portugal, and that will be followed, of course, by our excellent Dream Team. We'll pick up again at 9 o'clock next Thursday. Meanwhile, thank you very much, team. Thank you all members for participating, and we'll see you in Portugal.